Good morning guys, and in this video we shall be restoring a convertible soft top on a Saab 9.3 to hopefully its original former glory. So let's take a look at the car before we start prepping. Okay, Saab 9.3. Let's have a look at what we've got. We've got a number of dirty spotty marks. We're just on the driver's side at the moment. There's a number of stains and marks on it. You know, these kind of fold marks, you won't eliminate those, but they'll certainly be recoloured. Bit of mud there, nice. Bit of mould there. Yeah. I think we get the general gist. Taking a quick look at the other side. The inevitable bird poo. So generally it's just a wear and tear issue. It's much in need of rejuvenating. And that's the roof, how it sits currently. So how are we going to go about the process? Basically there's 5 elements to the restoration from start to finish. The first one is we're going to give it a detailed wash using my chosen poison is Renovo. This one is a prep cleaner, recommended by themselves. I've used Renovo before. They do a number of sort of cleaning products. They've got quite a nice list of user-friendly stuff, followed by brushes to work it in gently to get those mold spots out and everything else out. Once we've washed it, we're going to allow it to dry. I'll probably towel it off to begin with and then make sure that we're dry in all the crevices. Then we'll be applying our Renovo black colour tint. We'll let that dry for a couple of hours and then we'll apply it again for a second coat. Quite important, you need to put 2 coats on really to get the job done properly. And then when that's dry, hopefully 2 or 3 hours later, I'm going to apply a coat of sealant, which is Fabsil. Now I believe you can get away with just recolouring it and not sealing it immediately, but it makes sense that while the hood is nice and clean, recoloured to get that sealant on. So we're going to wash it now and get it nice and clean, get those marks out. Okay, I'm just going to show you in the first instance how to use the cleaner. So with a spray bottle with just water in it. I've put a couple of bits of masking tape there, just in the bottom left and right, to give you an idea, just to show you the area that I'm doing. I've got my cleaner in a little container, and I've got a soft nail brush, which is useless for cleaning nails, but in actual fact it's very good for cleaning convertible roofs because it's not too hard on the surface and yet its bristles are fine enough to get well deep into the soft pores of the canvas, or mohair as this is probably one, what this one is. Gently work it in. Now if you know you've got a particularly stubborn stain, work it a little bit more in that area and should produce a nice foam creamy surface. So you don't need a huge amount. And then you want to leave that for about 20 minutes to work in. So after about 15-20 minutes, it goes back to its natural colour, the foam disperses, and you can look, and if anything's still apparent, you can go over it again. I don't know if you can pick that up on the camera, but there's a tiny little mark around here. So I'm just going to use my slightly larger, it's a nylon bristle brush, again still quite soft, and with that a little bit of an agitation, go over the whole lot again. You can repeat this process during your waiting time several times, particularly if you know you've got some hard grounding spots to do. Now if your roof's very green, then you'll certainly see the foam turn green. Just a bit of agitation, and then we'll just rinse that off. Later on I'll use a hose on it and give it a proper rinse, but this is just for your benefit. And then I'm just going to wipe it off with a cloth. See the black you're getting out of that? Like I say, I'll give it a thorough rinse with a hose pipe when I've done the whole lot. So that's all you need to do. Spray it first with some fresh water, get your brush, dip it in your cleaner, agitate it in nice and gently, repeat it a few times, give it a good 15-minute soak, rinse it off. If you've got any marks still remaining, then do it again. Let's get the whole roof done. Okay, that's the whole roof coated. I've been over it 2 or 3 times. Some of the more stubborn stains, I have worked them a little bit with the back of my fingernail just to make sure I got them out. But we're going to let that soak in for another 5-10 minutes, and I'll give it a brush off one more time, and then we shall give it a rinse and see what we've got. Couple of things that are quite important: you don't want to do it in direct sunlight, and you want to keep that roof wet the whole time you've got that cleaner on it. So just lightly spray it, give it a bit of agitation, don't let it dry out. Okay, time to rinse it off. Okay, it's had a few minutes to drain off. It's by no means dry, but I can already see the spot there, and spot there, one over there, one there, one there. But fundamentally, that is not too terrible. A couple there, they become more apparent when you look across it like that. They're just still a bit, I think they're just a bit green. Let's have a look. Yeah, see? Just a bit green. Right, we'll get those. That corner's come up beautifully. So has the bottom. As has round here. They always look great when they're wet, don't they? The real colour will shine through when it's dried right out. Unfortunately, the sun's come out now, which is beautiful, which is just what I want for drying. Right, so I'm going to tackle those spots over there, and then we'll let it dry. Overall, not too terrible. Okay, so we've finished the wash, and we are now dry and ready to put the first coat on of 2, maybe 3, but we're definitely going to need 2. So I'll get one on outside, and then I'll bring it into the workshop and then let it dry, probably a couple of hours worth there, and then get the second coat on. Okay, give your colour tint a really nice shake. Make sure the lid's on it, nice and tight. Get yourself a little damp cloth, just in case you get any spillages on the paintwork. And then basically, a basic thin coat. You can start from the middle or you can start from the sides. It's entirely up to you. Don't go right up to the edge because it will naturally run down. It's like water. Okay, but when you come to doing your edges, start off higher and then you can always go lower, picking up any bead that you might have. I'm going to leave this edge until later because I want to try and keep a wet edge all the way through. Okay, it's quite clear to see where I've been. Already it's starting to dry out on this early side. This is one coat and I haven't finished this seam off yet. If you do get any runs, they will collect in here. So it's quite a nice little saviour. No real spillages as of yet. The new bit has got, I reckon, it's got a bit of a sheen to it while it's curing off. So that's it after one coat. I'm going to finish the rest off now and then we can allow it to rest. The sun is coming out, it's fine. You don't want to do this in direct sunlight. It's a good time of year. I've been lucky today, got to wash it in the clouds and now the sun's come out to help me dry it off, which is beautiful. So let's get it finished and I'll show you the first coat when we're done. Okay, this is after the first coat. I've been very lucky. The wind has been low, the sun has been popping in and out. We've still got a bit of a sheen where it hasn't quite dried out properly yet, but I shall give it another hour at least in between coats. I can see some areas where it's concentrated more than others, but that will get blended in on the second coat. All the deep ingrained marks in the roof have gone on the first coat, which is quite nice, but like I say, it just needs time now to dry off, pending the second coat. Keep your rag with you, wipe your little spots off here and there when it happens. Like I say, it's not windy today, it's not too hot. It's been absolutely perfect conditions really to have a go. Right, I've completed the second coat of the colour tint, and now I'm going to apply what is going to be the second coat of sealer. I've done a coat of sealer. I had to get a shifty on because I thought the weather was going to change, so I brought the car into the garage. I know it looks like the sun is shining on the bonnet, but that's just a spotlight. Anyway, let's crack on with the final coat of sealer. Well, that's the second coat of sealer applied. It's now going to sit overnight out the wet, because it is going to rain overnight tonight, so I don't want it getting wet for 24 hours. Couple of things. You might have noticed that I used a roller on the second coat providing I videoed that bit, I think I did, but I used a roller on the second coat of the colour tint purely because I was seeing a few, on the dried first coat, I was seeing a few brush marks. So I basically changed direction with the roller. Instead of going side to side, I went back to front with the roller, which helped lose those marks and gave it a better finish. I also used the ribs in the roof as like a marker. So when I'm going side to side, I'll do that in a section, keeping a wet edge, so that when you go on to do the next one, it blends in a whole lot better. Make sure you go round with a cloth and just wipe around the seals and windows, make sure there's no sealer on there. You can mask up. I've done a bit of masking. I've done this before, so I've got an idea how it performs. And it particularly on the sides and on the back window, it can run quite extremely. So basically, if you've got a piece of cloth that you're sealing so big, I run a wet brush across the top, and of course it runs down, and then I work down accordingly. But when you go around and wipe again, particularly around the corners and the ends of the roof, because you can find that you get a natural sort of gravity drain down of the roof. If there's any excess sealer there, it will run off to the sides. And although you've wiped once, over the next sort of 10-15 minutes, you might find out that you've got a little drip in like a bottom corner of there on the roof, for example. So just double check it for about 20 minutes, half an hour after you've put the last coat on, and indeed all the coats, to be fair, just in case you've got any runs. You're always going to get, you know, it's an old roof, they rub on bits of framework inside the car, etc. You get different textures on the roof through wear and tear. You're never going to lose those. They're always going to show up. We'll do a water test on it tomorrow when it's all dry, before Neil comes to pick it up, and well, maybe even when he's here. But and that's fundamentally about it. Once again, those products that I've used, you might be wondering why indeed the bonnet is up, and that is the car wouldn't start. It was outside, the battery was flat, so I don't know whether there's an inherent problem with the battery or whatever, but it didn't want to start, so I had to put it on charge. So it's raring to go tomorrow. We'll look into that another day. But product wise, again, I used the Renovo fabric soft cleaner, and I've also used pretty much, there's about an egg cupful left in that, but that's the colour reconditioner stuff, again from Renovo in black. I've used pretty much all of that. That is a litre. I'm glad I got the bigger one, because that roof was really quite porous, so it was in need of protection. Otherwise it probably wouldn't have gone through another winter without letting the side down. And then the final sealer, I use Fabsil Gold. I use this stuff on my boat. It's very good for marine applications. It's really, really strong. It's got fantastic UV inhibitors, so I thoroughly recommend that. Not endorsed, but nevertheless, stick with what you know and what works for you. So, and that's fundamentally it. So let's take a little look at the look with the finished second coat. So guys, thanks for watching this video on roof restoration, colour tint and seal. It's taken me a full day. It's just gone 5 o'clock now, so I've been on that since just 9 o'clock. So it's a long haul job, and the secret really is to make sure that you spend plenty of time on the cleaning. Don't be in a hurry to rush it, because it can look better than it is when it's wet. So take your time, work it in, rinse it off, do it again if you need to. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that Saab 9.3 job out of the way. Thanks, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on another video, which will be back on the Porsche. Bye for now.